in usual form, when we do go live, there generally is a bit of a lag when it comes to people entering. So we are going to put a set wait time for you guys to enter. Now, I have put the updated link directly below. It is, let me double check. Let me double check, because I did update it inside the previous video and inside some of the blogs, but I have not updated it in this video. And a lot of people have been saying, Yildiz, the payment link's wrong. So I am going to retrieve the new payment link. We will go to the previous video, which I did say that on that video, which I'm going to have to make sure that I mute the sound so it doesn't directly come through, or I'll just go to the payment link. That'd be easier. Okay, let's chuck that inside the live. How will I do that without making noise? Maybe in the chat. It will be put right here. Now we're going to go into pausing. I'll put some background music. I'm going to get the final list up and we will start shortly. Okay, it's going to be the last call shortly, so if anyone else wants to put their super chat in, you have 5 seconds and we will be going live. We are here, take 3. Very warm welcome to those of you who are new. Hi, girl. How are you, Mama Bird? I haven't seen you in a while. I've been thinking about you. Have you been having fun with Jupiter and Cancer? Good morning, everyone. Okay, so what we do have on the corners, and I really do need to get a different color background light. So bear with me as we are changing some of the things. That is because we are kind of branding, trying to, during all the retrogrades, bring different kind of methods of bringing content to you, especially with time restraints at the moment. And we did do an update last night, which ended up being in a video format. And for the life of me, I can tell you, every time I've come into the studio and I've tried to do the update relating to astrology, I was getting extremely tired, that yet I would go out back in the fresh air and I would be really inspired to talk about some of the things that were happening. So it was really a spontaneous kind of thing that it was like, okay, well, I do want to get the word out. I do want to connect in with you guys and give you some of the revelations I've had relating to the astrology, but not necessarily jumping into the office, grabbing a bunch of slides, chucking them up, because what it was going to do was take me backwards, not get the message out. So I had to take that format last night. So if you have seen it, it might give you some context, not only based around the Aquarius moon, but really what we're directly dealing with in a context of this week. Now, we have had Mercury go station today for me in Western Australia. So for some of you, it will be happening tomorrow morning. And I did mention on the video to not make any rash decisions during that time, because what you're going to find is it's very foggy. It's neither here nor there. Nothing's really completely cemented, but you are going to feel 2 things. Now, one can be extremely fatigued. There can still be frustrating circumstances potentially for the next 2 weeks. And it's almost like a wave that's coming towards you. You have to dive under it. And, try to not tell yourself that there is going to be no solution. If you are dealing with a circumstance at the moment and you're finding there's no solution, what you're going to find is, with a little bit of time and patience, which I think for a lot of us collectively, we have really... Okay, I'll check it in a minute, sweet. And again, I have updated the link. So what I will be doing is directing you guys to that, and also starting to update it inside of any of our community posts, because we are taking a different approach when it does come to the community posts. They are going to be content based. It can be an update to do with your twin flame path, something to do with super chats, webinars, events. So keep an eye on that community tab. It's not going to be your generic spewed out of the box kind of crap and reminding everyone. It is going to be updates relating to your niche area of what you're linking to and how it can best serve you. But at the moment, the way we have done things has been that we have been creating twin flame content on this channel for a long time. Now, I have reduced it back, and at the moment, the only things that are on open is the twin flame path. And I haven't done the joint connection because I do believe both parties at the moment are integrating, but it is more to do with the fact that if somebody is wanting to tune into that path, due to the limitation of time I directly have, you can book a reading or you can get a super chat. Now, what I am trying to do with a resource with my time is reconfigure this channel so that I can give you things that are going to be much more relevant to your path than just a romantic read, because I don't feel it necessarily uses my resources to the best of its capacity. And I think for a lot of people, you know, connecting to an awakening, connecting to ascension, or the astrology, I think it's going to be a far greater use of my time and service towards you guys in the movement going forward. So that's why I've reduced it right down, and it looks quite minimal, but it's not going to be how this is going to be moving forward. So you are going to start getting evergreen content, which I think, again, is going to be quite important. And some of those will branch off into courses. It can be workshops. Really what I want this platform to be is an information resource hub. And that's something I know that for me, going through my awakening and psychic development over the years, I simply didn't have. And yes, we do have a lot of AI that can spew these things out, but there's a lot of things I feel people don't directly talk about, which again, we do really need to protect that sacred knowledge, and we need to format it in a particular way that is giving it to the collective, but not letting it be manipulated and used by other people. So some of it might be behind closed doors, but there's always going to be some freebies, which is going to give you the base kind of line of what those things are. And if you do want that information, you feel it's quite important for you, you'll be able to retrieve that through the membership or through the website that I'm reconfiguring as well. So being one person and reconfiguring those things, you know, it's everything down to the website, everything down to which platforms I'm using, and how I'm integrating and following the rules and the guidelines associated to those. More as a, we could call this advertising really, because in this modern age, what a lot of us really do want, we don't want to jump on a website and not know who that person is. We want to know, what have people said about that person? What were their experiences with that circumstance? Do they have a good reputation? Are they a physical person or a bot? So we are more intellectually seeking those things. So what I'm having to do on the website is really pull that information in and, you know, have links to certain things. So I'm advertising what my skill set is. You're then deciding if that's something that will fit you, and you can decide where you are in your journey and what you're wanting to work on, which is within your power. So again, those of you that have been following me for a long time, to the corner here, we do have our schedule of content that's coming up. Now, I said on the video last night that it will be open tomorrow night. And what you have to understand is where I am in the world. So I'm in Western Australia. So the content for you guys will be where my PM is your AM for those of you in America. So we do have that there going on. I will quickly update the list. That sounds very Kiwi. Yes, I was born in New Zealand. And I will add Antonella. And how are you, Antonella? Was there anyone else? I'll just quickly have a look and we'll see if anyone else had added theirs. And I'll tell you, I've been so thirsty. Okay, so I do believe if there's anyone I have missed, please feel free to give me a heads up. And if you are wanting to grab it, you can go through. What I'm going to do is mute the microphone here. I'm going to open the other video. I'm going to pop it directly below this video. So I'll be 5 seconds. Bear with me. Okay, I've updated it in the base of the video in your information, so we should be able to proceed forward. I have one more image to upload. What I'm trying to do is get it to a point that if I have anything I need to tell you or anything that's been updated, I'm basically getting that and I'm having it on screen so I don't need to blah blah, because there's nothing worse than having a bunch of things coming up and I'm having to update you all to do with that. And really, you just want to get to the crux of the content. I mean, none of us like to be fobbed around and have those circumstances happen. So I'm attempting to, as much as possible each week, try and get those things done. So a lot of you aren't directly waiting around for the context of it, because, you know, one thing I really am is a stickler for trying to get those things done on time. And, you know, there's one irritation factor for me. I really don't like being late. It's something that doesn't sit right with me. I don't think it's polite, to be perfectly honest. So I would prefer to get those things done ASAP so it is flowing effectively. Now, as to the super chats, what I will be doing is creating a payment link, and that can be put directly onto the website so you can go and grab your super chat there. Because what I am experiencing at the moment is quite a bit of issues when it does come to, okay, are people using the correct link? You know, what page directly are they going to? Let's see if this comes up. Yes, it worked. Thank God. Okay, so here is the podcast video. That is what we use to update you to do with the astrology. Now, the format of the astrology that will be coming through, at first it is going to be moon updates. It's going to be eclipse updates. I'm going to turn them into podcasts as well, especially, and the podcast won't be just defined to, you know, astrology. It could be your twin flame path. It might be conversation pieces. There can also be future tense, especially if there's group sessions and things to that degree, and you have an expertise or a belief to do with that and you want to have a chat, you can jump on the podcast as well. So that will be something that is under development. But at the moment, the video is online. I do need to update YouTube settings so that the previous astrology updates are in one folder. And for some of you, what you might have noticed is the super chat thumbnail has changed, and I'll try and bring it up here and I'll show you the reasons why. Because what I have noticed, I think that's the one. What I have noticed is when I'm actually scheduling these things, and I already had it up, so I can show you here. We will go back to this. When I'm scheduling things at the very bottom, and it's on, like, it's live and it's going to be premiered, so to speak. What you tend to have on the bottom of the screen, what you will get on TV, especially when it comes to the banners on YouTube, will be different. And then you go down a different size, it's on the computer, the banner is a different size, and then you go onto the mobile and it totally looks different. So, you know, YouTube at the moment, it would be fantastic if they actually had the settings where we could have different formats for each screen. And I would love to see YouTube do that, because it's making it very difficult to actually create those kind of experiences for different kind of viewpoints, which we do get. Now, at the moment, when we are actually showing a premiere, and I'll give you an example, I'll go through to the channel and I will show you what we physically are seeing at the moment and what the reason why I feel I'm needing to change the actual images. Now, at the moment, this is about as big as you can see, and I'll try and get the angle. Maybe if I turn that off for a minute. So it's not going to work. We'll see. Okay, so what we tend to get is where it's scheduled. Let's see a scheduled video. We'll see some lives. You get at the very base of the video where the actual title is, it's blacking it out completely. And those of you that are on your mobile phone, you actually see that. And the images as per se are quite small. So in the context of what you see, really when we are going for videos, we're needing to know what the hell it's about. So unless we can see the font, that's the reason I've actually moved the image to the top. Okay, so the text to the top is so that at the bottom when it says it's scheduled and it's going to go live, you know, on the computer, it's going to be where Yildiz Readings 5D is written there. On your telephone browser, it's blacking out the whole bottom section. And so, you know, the previous images and the way I was actually showing things, and I'll see if I can find an old one in here. This probably isn't a very good thing, but it's like, it was smaller than that, the context of the writing. It's just not showing up. So we do need to move it more to the top at this point in time. But we are going to get into the super chat. So are there any questions if we proceed forward? I haven't been trying to eat my feelings, but done very well with it. I swear I'm sugar addicted. I actually think it's something to do with the ascension. Plus, I do think you know, with the transits, they're always going to dictate where it's coming from. Now, what I'm finding is my cravings for sugar are coming at night time. Certain zodiacs, and remember, I'm actually not like surprised at the fact that feminines are talking about their image, is because Mercury retrograde in Leo and the South Node in Virgo is to do with our wellness and our image and our identity crisis. And so how we feel about ourselves, whether we can show up authentically and we're comfortable in our skin. Certain zodiac signs might have experienced weight gain. Okay. And I, you know, I have to be very careful about how I directly approach this, but it's a physical factor that with certain placements in astrology, be it you were trying or, you know, it was gonna happen. Okay. Because Jupiter expands. So those signs could have been, you know, and so where you will find it is in your second house. Could be in your sixth house or your first house. And I know, you know, Capricorns, you guys now are going through that change, and you'll find that anything down to your mouth, your teeth, you know, what's hidden, how food directly relates to you, it's going to be going through a change. Pluto retrograde can bring up those things, but Pluto is going to make you aware of the emotions associated to triggers from other people. So it could be that you're dealing with a lot of people's shit, and then the emotions come in and it could be coming through that way. But it is going to help you, being that it's Pluto, and then you'd need to look for where Neptune and Saturn is. If Neptune and Saturn is near your seventh house, if it's near your second house, or if it's in the sixth house, it can be a burden, but it's going to help you structure, and it can take about 3 years. That can be hitting the gym, especially if it's Jupiter in nature. Jupiter can make you super fit, but it also can make you expand. So it depends on the polarity you're taking. It depends on the circumstances and how you're addressing it. Sometimes it can be to do with falling pregnant, for instance. So yes, the gain can come due to that. It could be that you are so busy sitting and you're so creative, or, the fifth house, for instance, is all to do with the fact that you're going out and you're socializing. It could be fine dining and eating, and, any of those placements where we had Taurus, it's my worst enemy. It's whenever I have a lunation in Taurus or Venus in Taurus, I hit that cookie jar. And so I've become acutely aware, and I'd love to have it in my calendar where it can just whoop and go, you know what, Yildiz, keep the hell away from that bloody cookie jar. Yesterday, my twin absolutely laughed at me, and I don't like throwing things out. I think it's sacrilege. But I said, me and these cookies need to divorce. And they were slightly burnt, but, anytime I was waking up and really spending a lot of my energy, it's a little bit like a diabetic. You feel worn out, you feel drawn out. So I hit the cookie jar, and I think I had these mini cookies, and I was eating them, and I was like, you know what, now I feel crap. So it wasn't a solution. It was like, eat, keep hydrated, get into that balance and get into that routine. So it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. It was more I was choosing the bad option due to getting quite burnt out, and it was what was on hand. So yes, I put them in the rubbish bin. There was one last cookie that was a marshmallow cookie, and I put it in the bin. I retrieved it back out. I opened the packet, and he's laughing at me, and I even poured water on it because I said, I know, I will still fish it out. I made a cake in the air fryer. It was fire. Yeah, well, that's another thing, with the fire. Okay, let's quickly read these comments. Can I please put on the list as payment was sent the 15th of July? Thank you. I have put you on the list. Thank you, my love. Okay. Super chat closing. Last call. And we are going to get into the super chats. So again, like I mentioned, we do have the update that is going to take you all the way through the next 6 years, because we do mention where the transits are going, why circumstances are happening, that the next 2 weeks can be difficult, fly under the radar. Some of us are going to be forced to make drastic changes in the next 2 weeks, okay? Some of us are like, right, we have to do something to create this balance. It could be also dramas associated to other people. It could be group affiliations. It could be, do I fit into that tribe? Do I fit into that family? Their family versus your family. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. Divine Feminine's going through a lot of changes. Masculines also are going through a lot of changes. But like I mentioned on the video, we directly, maybe that are more spiritual inclined, subtly we can give people pointers. We can maybe share a video or share some information and insight, and and you'll be surprised how that actually can support them without controlling the energy and how they perceive that. So that can be something that we do need to look at. Now I'll chuck the super chat list up on screen directly below, and we're going to get into it. Now I have added Antonella there, and I'll grab the cards and we'll get tucked straight into it. So I'm hoping this is helping at the moment. And yes, I did want to go into predictions and dates and all the rest of it. But again, I was very limited on time. Some of those contexts I will start actually sharing in blog posts. But the other context of things, what I'm finding is I'm sharing the predictions, and like I said, there's possibilities of an earthquake, volcanoes. At this point in time, we are going to get a lot of weather events, simply because Aquarius is very Uranian in energy, and the Uranian energy at the moment is in 2 placements. It is in Gemini, and which is, again, a Mercury sign. So we're going to see changes, radical, abrupt shifts and changes associated to social media, tech, the physical environment, rules and laws associated to those things, schools, universities, online, technology, what we can and can't use it for, what we should and shouldn't use it for, what we have to now do in a very hurried manner. It's already been shown that ChatGPT actually uses more energy than a simple search. And for countries around the world, it's not that that's a bad thing. It's how can we actually balance so that that doesn't make our already issue relating to technology and power within our grid an issue, because we already have that as an issue. We can see a lot of countries actually going, okay, do we go solar? Do we go, nuclear power? What do we do? Aquarius can be nuclear power as well. So those can be some subjects that can be coming up at this point in time. Chips were my thing Thursday, Friday. Well, salt and sugar also can be deficiencies, possibly. You could actually do some research or, talk to your physician. But a lot of times it can be our minerals in our body where our hydration is needed. So, especially if you are craving a certain thing and it's coming up unannounced, it can be because of hormones. It might be, a monthly is coming up for some of us. And for some of us, it could be something else underlining, but your body's always going to tell you. I'm hoping for the better in my life. COVID wrecked my life, made me homeless, still struggling getting back up. Don't have hardly anyone in my life. It's really interesting, Brad, because we do tend to find, part of my awakening came through from 2012 and beyond. And in astrology, I actually had Pluto transiting through my fourth house, so I can directly relate to that. I'm a Libra, but I know that a lot of people, the awakening came through probably from 2020. But what I can say on the opposite spectrum, sometimes universe kind of removes us from circumstances, but it does give back later. And it shows us, it's almost like our soul incarnates to have a particular experience. And then, what we do attract after is going to be not, and I can't say not from a lack mentality. It's almost like things have to happen for a reason, if that makes sense. And so some experience you physically go through, it's going to help you in your future. And it could send you off on a different career tangent, where we become, especially in the age of Aquarius, very passionate associated to a subject. I know for me in the last 2 weeks, really looking at homes, which I did mention on the video on screen, to do with homelessness and laws to do with it, and how that was going to change over the next 3 years, but also where we are experiencing these difficulties, what we do tend to find is there can be uprises of, because Aquarius is sort of an innovator. There's somebody ahead of their time and they're a problem solver, but they could be it's like they're going to be the rebel without a cause, but it's like a person that's going out there to create change. So some of the hard experiences we've had and some of the disappointments we potentially could be seeing in the collective, we end up being the solution, and it could be a huge trend that actually comes out. So, yes, a lot of people have gone through those things, and that is why Aquarius actually shows at a collective level. In 2020, we came together theoretically because we were all collectively having a joint experience. But like I mentioned in that video, it feels as though it's each person for their own, and that's based on the astrology at the moment with Neptune and Saturn in Aries. It's going to move out and it's going to move back again, and it's showing where we do have to be independent, but we can join with people, and that is going to come. But it's almost like it's doing the polar opposite to what 2020 did, where we would see people singing from the building in isolation. And now we're sort of like, well, this is my country and that's your country. And this is what I have, and the dictatorship, so to speak. So that's going to change. But we are needing to stabilise and actually shift things. So as we are doing that, I do believe the experiences that we're having are going to be shared. And it is the human beings that are the lower class, so to speak, or the people that are really suffering, that equality can go out of balance at first, but it is going to move back into balance again. And all I can say is similar to the French Revolution, you know. So it is going to change, but it can be some very hard times. But I definitely relate to that, Brad. And, you know, I can say that for me, it was a very just empowering time, but it empowered me at the same time because it made me look outside the box for solutions, and it made me actually realize that I needed to be open about creating new opportunities and living in this world in a very, very different way. Okay, let's see what's coming up for Leo next. So we're going to be here till midnight, and I'm sure some of you, you know, want to go to bed, depending on where you are in the country. Okay, so do you have a particular question, Leonix, or is it just whatever your guides want you to say? And I know for you, Leonix, you do have the Aquarius energy coming up pretty heavy in your Venus house. You know, for Leos alike collectively, this can be a time relating to your marriages, contracts, partnerships, where you really are going to be having, it can feel initially like it's a very karmic lesson. It can feel initially, and yeah, it's really relating to your love life, but it's your body. It's your body, it's your feelings, it's your it's how you show up, it's your vision, it's what you attract, it's your direct love life. Pluto exposes things. But, you know, the thing is to be open to a new chapter with the North Node and Pisces. We are needing to psychologically end the old things in order to be open to new. And this was something both my partner and I talked about last night. It's very uncommon to have people that have had a lot of crap go down to be able to rise above it. And what do I mean by that? If you've had some real toxic history with a person, and you have come to a space where you're growing, and you have come to a space where you're ready to work together, it doesn't mean the past didn't exist. It did, and it did happen. But you're needing to come to a space where it happened, you acknowledge that, but you don't allow it to define your steps moving forward. Now, when you find that that person in your belief is not working with you, you can actually change the circumstance associated to that, but it is going to take you changing an attitude towards it. So it's like not getting triggered when a person is giving you a response that you're not liking. You're inadvertently teaching that person how to respond to you because you are not showing them the toxic. You're saying that's not going to work for me. So you are setting the tone and the benchmark. You are in the driver's seat of your relationship. Now, there can initially be, due to the fact that we had Mercury retrograde in Leo, and it's stationed today, so I would say it can feel a little bit eclipsy for you psychologically at the moment. I would give it a couple of days. Also, in the context of as Pluto goes direct, you are going to find at the moment you're feeling everything is going backwards, and you could be dissecting the relationship sector of your life, your body. You know, do I feel attractive? Is that person in love with me? How did other people, Aquarius, directly impact my relationship? Their children versus your children. How external sources impacted it. How secrets have created spooks in the dark of what's happening, and are they a reality or are they a figment of the imagination? I mean, sometimes what we tend to do, and again, this was what I talked to my partner about, and a lot of people over the last, I would say 3-4 days, is that the thing is sometimes we can use pacifiers to deal with our stress, and what tends to happen is the old theory of making a mountain out of a molehill, it becomes a molehill, and it is going to blow at some point. So we do need to get to a space that when something happens, we address it right away, and we kind of tuck through in that. So the card that you have at the moment is the Leo energy, and it's the critical energy. Okay, this is like, you know, the judgment, it feels critical. Let's put it that way. It's in reverse. You know, in the upright, this is a person who is climbing at a dodge. This is a person who is moving beyond it. Now, I'll honestly tell you, for many of us collectively, including your zodiac sign, being able to do anything felt very disempowering, because the tides were against us collectively, and especially for you in your relationship sector, the tides were against you to be able to move forward. So even if you might have used the most cognitive ability to address this, and you see the person for who they really are, it's, where is this person? It's what they used to be. It's going back down, memory lane and being nostalgic. It's also coming back to the here and now and saying, okay, yes, I do know this person has the capacity to be this. And I do know that sometimes some of my triggers have maybe affected it, but I'm wanting to move forward and I want this back. Now, it's what you need to get to is realizing take the past for what it is. It's not about the past anymore, because what we have to understand is we want to achieve this in the here and now. And so sometimes we can go spiritually and psychologically to the past because it was the safest space, and it's what we'd prefer and why we can't get back to that. But the thing is, we have to take it from where it is today, because there's a lot of dynamics now that are incredibly different. So in the heart space, it can feel like you are having a tower. Now, sometimes it can be you're pulling things down. Sometimes it can be you. Sometimes it's a revelation to do with love, to do with the heart chakra. Now, like I said, for you, it's been quite active because we had Mercury retrograde in your zodiac sign. It is linking to inner child and creativity and confidence. We also had the Venusian energy of your life, like in a Venus retrograde for you, and it's been very deep and dark. Does that make sense? Now, some can do the Scorpionic energy. Your zodiac sign does not like to do that Scorpionic energy. Try to become, how can I say it? The one thing I can say is over the next 20 years, you are going to attract a relationship that is very you. But there will be lessons associated to this position in astrology, and it is going to show you what needs to change. Now, especially for those of us that have Taurus energies, where some zodiac signs are kind of built as a pyramid. They want to build life and keep it quite settled and structured. What you are finding at the moment is Pluto is coming up and shaking some of that stuff up, but it's making your nervous system quite affected because it feels very, 1 minute you're looking at something and you're completely sure about it. The next minute it's polar swapped and it's over here. I'd say waiting for it to go direct is probably going to work best, but I'd also say make the cake differently, because I do think if you can do that, you're directly going to get a different outcome. But there is a lot at the moment that is impacting you. Now, as to being single, and I would not be surprised if there's millions of Leos around the world saying, do you know what, sort I'm going to be single. I don't think that's going to be an ability totally. I don't think that's going to be a permanency, because number one is Pluto is there to help you. Pluto is there to attract the things that are necessary for your lessons and learnings and growth, but they're to create a very deep bond. They're to create something more sustainable. And so if the planks in the floor are rotten, they're going to be removed, they're going to be replaced, they're going to be transformed. That can be on your side of the fence or their side of the fence. It's also going to show you how to spot individuals that are shady. And look, every human being has a shady element in their life, but how to actually transform those things, okay? So at the minute, I would say in your love life, don't allow things to get to extremes, because we can, in this instance, especially in the first 2 weeks at the minute from this video, we could be our own worst enemy. If love is something you're wanting to develop, I do see that there, but you're definitely going to have to do it differently. Don't get to a point where it's all or nothing, because I'm really not feeling that's the reality of this. Because number one, if you felt this was it, it wouldn't be a question on your page. It would be very centered around, okay, just in general, what's going on. But this is something that you are very much invested in. And because of that factor, there is going to be a transformation. But universe really is saying what you have to understand is that how it's going to come about is not within your control. It is more so in your control based upon how you respond to it. You know, if you know there's some attitude change that needs to be there, if you know there's some tactical approach, if you know there's some digging or maybe journaling and looking at things, yes, that will be so. But I do see a significant shift here. It is going to affect how you look. It's going to affect your love life. It's going to affect how you value yourself. It could also be down to marriage subjects and the give and take in connections, and really allowing people to actually help you. If you're feeling in your vibration that you're needing something from that person and they go to give it and you say, no, 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 it's okay, you need to get that back into harmony, because that's actually going to bring that balance about for the yin and yang within the masculine and feminine. I do see a change happening here, but at the moment, I would say it sort of feels like an eclipse. And by mid-month, we really are going to be already feeling those energies. And I'm already psychically and astrologically seeing some of the Pisces eclipse playing out now. I hope that helps. But as to love, you're not going to have it. You're most definitely going to have it. It's more, you know, how you navigate it. You could be actually having some significant changes, I would say, in particular areas of your life. They're going to be your career. They're going to be your body image, and what you want to change within that. It is going to be your relationship. But if you physically feel it's only in one area, it could be that psychologically you could be avoiding the other areas and thinking the romantic sector is the solution. And so I would be really diligent in looking at the key things that really are coming up. And when you're journaling it, it's going to keep you more coherent about what the issue is. You know, which elephant is in the room? Is it an emotional response due to an external circumstance happening in your career, family, home, or finances? Then those can be the things maybe within your control you assess. If it's not, and it is this irking situation relating to this romantic interest, it can show you maybe some, yes, okay, it is that then. But I'm really seeing psychically and astrologically, it is actually more to do with circumstances you're feeling disempowered by. And I think it's just about writing them down, heading and titling them right, and going, okay, what are some ideas I can have in dealing with this? And I probably wouldn't do this today. I probably wouldn't do it tomorrow. I would do it in about 3 days' time. Get your rest where you can. And then as you have that clarity, because like I said, the next 2 weeks are difficult, I would mainly just title those areas and step back and wait for the dust to settle, so to speak, and the adversity to kind of slow down. And then as we have transits going into Virgo, like the moon into Virgo, you're going to be able to intellectually tune into it and problem solve it. Okay? So let's get the cards ready for the next super chart. It is many things, yeah. So, but the thing is, what we're going to find is when it is many things, what we tend to do is we'll project it onto one area. It's this or it's that, you know. So the self-awareness in navigating these things is going to be pretty key. And it's going to be to the point where it's going to make us more rational in addressing those things, okay? How is the lovely Tracy? You got 2 things coming up. So has your energy spiked yet, Tracy? That's what I want to know. Because you were way too cool for school, you know, and the members the other day. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Because I do know that your astrology love is like, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. I'm just going to have a drink. So has yours, Tracy, if Tracy's in the house? You know, how's your energy been in the Aries polarity? Let's see. We'll get the other image up. We'll swap it around a bit. We do have the twin flame content out. Notice I have written 8 p.m. GMT. Just in case you didn't know, I'm in Western Australia. So if it's evening for you at this minute, this is live, then it will be tomorrow morning for you. Let's see what we've got for Tracy. Was there a... I'm easily agitated on a regular basis. I literally, my sister-in-law is an Aries. Bless the possum socks. I was actually going to reach out to her the other day and go, girl, how are you doing? You know, how the fuck are you? because I feel sorry for Aries at the moment. I really bloody do. Leonix, you are most welcome, my love. This is going to be good for you. I don't want you to be scared by it, love, because, you're protected. The changes, you will get to a point, you're worth it. You're going to attract a person in your life that is going to be best for you. And, don't be scared. What we don't want to do is close ourselves off like bloody Rapunzel, age and wither and the hair's long, but we're old and grey and we're doing nothing. We don't want that. We want to live. And to live is to breathe and to experience the highs and the lows, right? So, I was just going to say to my sister-in-law, how the hell are you? It's so hard to tell the difference. What do you mean it's hard to tell the difference? In what way? What do you mean it's hard to tell the difference? Oh, I think we did have this. Oh, look at that. We can have the super chart. Yeah, not the super chat, the chart. I'll have to swap it over now. Look, I've had a revelation because we actually can have the chat up on the screen. So I'll have to create this little chat thing and I'll chuck that over there. Say what I mean. This bloody Virgo South Node. It's been messing with me. Okay, so the card you have is the Death card and the Ace of Cups. You've had an energy shift, I would say, since our last super chat last week. So it could be like, I don't know why I'm saying, and I shouldn't probably say this on social media, off with their head. It's like the Alice, is it Alice in Wonderland or is it? It's so hard to tell if it's me as a person or astrology. No, I think it is the astrology, love. I think it is in the context of it, mainly based on the fact that, look, if your energy has been super okay, right, and then it's come out of nowhere, what it is going to do is, you got the forecast, right? The Queen of Hearts, exactly. So, she's sitting there and she's like, no, I've just made this ruthless decision. It's like off with her head. And, I have heard a lot of feminines at the moment very angry to do with love. Jupiter in Cancer can also be justice for the divine feminine, justice in the way. And, many moons ago, I remember feeling quite bitter. We're all human. I thought that maybe if I was for the other team, maybe I'd be better and they get hurt too. And then I thought maybe if I was a nun, I wouldn't. And then I'll be, okay, if you got Gaia, and I did that for a while. I had the connection to source and spirit and, just very much on my own. But the thing is, we're here to experience. We're here to actually have these connections. So whatever is attracted into our life is a choice. Like I said, sometimes just go easy on yourself. Sometimes just get to a point where you say, I'm doing the best I can. Right now, something I'm moving towards, because I recall saying to myself, especially on my twin flame path, it was like I had to do this or I had to do that. And I thought, no, I don't. I'm healing. I'm taking my time. I can change my mind at any time. I will have the integrity to be very open and explain that to people who are involving themselves in my life, but I'll be extremely transparent and I owe nobody nothing. And so it still was having that integrity, but it was also being very present and experienced to enjoy people's company. Not being toxic or anything, but it was like, I'll enjoy your company, but I don't know where this is going. So, for you, it could be that you're feeling, crap, how do I get what I want? How do I have what I want without letting people down? Well, be transparent. Just be open. Yeah. And I think the key is, and that was something that I have talked to, and the thing is, when we are involving ourselves in other people's lives, there's always that risk. And so it can be that we just directly focus on what our side of the fence is and let them resolve their side of the fence and create that space. It's only when somebody else is dragging you into their mess you can say, well, hey, A, it's permission-based, and B, if you're requiring me to be part of that, I have a say in if that is affecting me and if I will or won't tolerate that. So I feel for you, it could be that you're feeling as though, oh, heck, I'm going down this path and I feel spiritually it's what's best for me. But on the opposite spectrum, you can be feeling, hey, I still very much am invested in a particular person spiritually. But I'm very frustrated because I am really in the here and now, and that person is MIA. And, what do I do with that? I would say just be, and say each day, check in each day. Do I want to do that? Do I want to go out for dinner? Do I want to enjoy company? Because Mercury took you backwards, right? Mercury took you backwards. Moving into this Virgo moon pending and the Aquarius moon, our nervous system, energies, external influences, how we link in groups, how we feel to do with those things. You and your heart space, you do not know what to do. And it can be, and I've always noticed this about myself, I operate better when I'm well rested. If I go to the supermarket and I'm hungry, I'm going to shop more. I'm going to buy all the candy. I'm going to buy the candy shop. Now, if you need to change something, and your intellect is going to feel as though everything's falling down, or that you need to do, I keep getting that you need to do something. Look, the only time you're ever going to do something is if for damn straight sure something you're investing in right now is not for you. So if you are having that feeling, 100% make that choice. If you feel you can never see it going absolutely anywhere, yes, you are within your right to say, okay, well, I've thought about this. My vibe isn't for it. I'm not directly invested in it. It's time to go. So I think you could be in that space at the moment because I don't think the other things would irritate you as much if you felt it was, for you, it does look very nice. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not that it's off or it's horrible or it's terrible, but it does feel so detached that maybe it could kind of be that a way you're protecting yourself, but it could be that it's never going to go super anywhere, but it's very good in the here and now, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Tracy? And it could be simple. It could be really simple. So look, if it's simple and it's serving the purpose at the moment, persevere. Take it for what it is. Don't make it something it's not. Can you remember back to the old days of getting in a relationship like Drusilla and Cinderella, and you're trying to put Cinderella's shoe on fucking Drusilla. It's not fitting. And you're like, no, darling, I'll make it fit. I'll make it fit. And it just doesn't fit. And you keep trying to do it. It's like you don't have to. But I'm kind of not feeling that. I feel you do acknowledge what this is. Okay? You do acknowledge what it is. I would say, if you feel ick around the person, it's time to go. If you feel it's suitable, but just when it fits you, do that. And it can actually help you be less codependent so that when that other energy does come in, you still have that energy vibration. It's serving a purpose. It's teaching you to be in your lane. It's teaching you to be self-focused. It's teaching you what a relationship is and what a relationship isn't. And what do I mean by that? I mean more in the context of the excess and extreme energy we can actually have when inside a toxic karmic path. Or a toxic twin flame path. There's certain cycles in the twin flame path that can become quite imbalanced because of the attention and the vibration both parties have towards each other. So it's teaching you something very valuable so that when you were to go back into it, you are going to be more detached and self-focused, not from a narcissistic point of way, but more from a self-mastered point of view. So that you're not, it's almost like you're not getting your hopes up, but it's not really to do with that. It's more you're in your lane. And so this is training for that. But I do think you could be getting to a point where you're getting very angry at yourself, like you have to make a decision. I don't actually think you have to. I mean, like I said, if you feel this is toxic and it's like you get the ooze with the person, yes, your body is saying, what the hell are you doing? You're wasting this person's time. You're wasting yourself, your time. So it's two things. If that feeling is there, you have confirmation, yes. If it is serving the purpose for the here and now, persevere and allow it to train you to get into this kind of balanced state of being in your own life, as well as sharing portions, not the whole thing. Fruit first, basket later, as I say. You don't have to go all in. You know, it's a bit like the stock market. Yeah, go all in and go broke. No, gradual, build. That's my energy update for you. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. Here we go next. We have Cosmic Journey. Not a capital Yildiz. So, Cosmic Journey. Thanks, Lois. This new relationship has taught me the detachment. Yeah, I have been there. That's why I'm saying, you know, it really does serve a purpose in the future. It actually made me learn to enjoy people's company without wondering, am I going to just run down the aisle? And I don't know. I never really had an issue with not getting married. You know, I'm sort of like Elizabeth Taylor. Everyone wanted to marry me. But what I was looking for was something deep. Yeah, she might be. It's very possible. Although I tell you, with these transits at the moment, our sleeping's going to be off. It really will be. But we will see how this is going. I did see a few of the PMs that she had in the Sage in a Circle network. All right, Rachel, how are you, love? So let's see what's coming through for Cosmic Journey. Oh, you've got two cards too. Everything. It could be that it's two Aries, and this is going to be quite a vibrant point in the month for you. And, you know, get your sleep where you can, I honestly say, is because I can really see that there is going to be some significant changes for you within your zodiac sign. Now, there can be some triggers. There can be some turning points. The funny thing is, I'll always say to those that are Virgo and Pisces, if there are conflict within connections, contracts, partnerships, or relationships, there is also an ability, if you exit stage, it can come full circle within the next, I would say, where are we? August, September, October, November, December. I would say 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 months, the next 18 months. So be open to that. You know, if you find something goes awry and it's not really working and you're having to go solo, I wouldn't get too stressed. I would try and do that internal work, because what you'll find is part of your process, and there still is a possibility of reconciliation. For some of you, it can be during this time that you are actually going through, for those Pisces, Virgo kind of axes, that you could have reconciliations. The Cosmic Journey, I think that you're really having this, you're wanting this new beginning, and you're also not wanting to come through immature, but you have this voice that's come through it's like, yeah, it's quite loudly. So, you know, it's sort of in this Page of Swords dynamic. Like I said, it's almost like you could be getting ready to communicate in a certain way. And, you know, second guessing yourself, that you could be feeling as though, okay, is this going to come through immaturely? Are my feelings able to be honored? And I think they can be. I don't think in general you are going to go out there and I'm hearing the term slay, but it's in a good way. It's like you're going to be able to communicate this in a very positive way. And if it does come up abruptly, it is because it has been simmering under the surface. So I think the best course of action is to address the elephant in the room. I think for a lot of us, we've really been gauging when the right time for that has been. And I think that the retrograde actually caused issues. So I do feel that prior to Mercury retrograde, there was a small window, but I also feel if you guys did wait to make any major decisions collectively, as well as for you, Cosmic Journey, and you waited to this point in the portal, it could be that August is quite significant for us, where we're having this revelation, no, something has to give, something has to shift. Now, for some of us, it could be that we're taking quite a tactical approach, and it could be anywhere from here into next year that you make that move and that pivot. But I do think for particular zodiac signs, it's going to be a lot earlier than later in the year. I feel for you, there is this feeling that a lot of emotions and your movement and who you are, conflict with families. It's been a lot. And you also could be assessing the dynamic in your romantic sector. And I do think it's going to be quite significant for you. The two areas that's going to come up is you versus other people. So how you can go through that in an onion layer is, how are you looking after your health? Are you feeling heard? Are you looking after your self-expression? And you are within your self-expression going to evolve. Your environment is going to infect you. But the first three cards are really showing me it's ripe for transformation and change. And it is, it's almost like I say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But if this is something that has been going on for years, universe is rebirthing you. And it feels like, almost that screaming analogy is almost that rebirth coming out of the canal, because we've got the Chariot, we've got the Devil card, and we've got the Death card. What precedes that is the Ace of Cups. And it can be because you're actually wanting to achieve some self-fulfillment, filling your own cup, caring for yourself. So don't be surprised if what you do get initially some bitterness and resentment is some feelings as though you are absolutely fed up at other people getting what you need and the interferences associated to it. And I think you're going to be ever so clear with people. If they have been pissing in your pocket, you're just going to be really direct. I'm just going to tell you. It's going to be cold as ice. But it's. I don't think the intention is to be cold as ice. I think it's to be transparent. I think it's to be quite, look, I have been discussing this with you, X, Y, and Z, yes, and I don't mean you and me. I mean this person and you, or this situation and you. And you're coming to a space that's like, look, I have to honour myself. I have to honour myself. You could particularly be dealing with some karmic influence involved here. And you do have the strength of this. Now, this could put the tower up this person, but it's causing change. The outcome card has changed. It's like, look, accept where you're at. This person you're involved with, you have heard a lot of stories. It's not you don't know what's true. You do, right? But in order to have change, in order for you to get what you want, in order for this person to get what they want, change has to happen. Addressing the elephant in the room and seeing something for what it really is. Okay? And I think that is, it's key. Both of you could be in the mix of a radical change in order to move that life forward. And I feel as though this person isn't wanting to go without you. Okay. So we have research clue next. Let's get yours done, my love. We will get that up on the screen and I will change that over. And thank you to my lovely person who is helping me, Lois. You're an absolute gold gem. I don't know what I'd do without you. And all of those that are members, I really do appreciate you. You guys have been, and even previous members, you guys over the years have been my rock. And I'm incredibly grateful for you all. And it's more than just, how do I put it? It is the friendship. This is, I think, for the years we have all spent with each other, this honestly is a friendship group. It's not just a one-sided transaction. Let's see. Okay, so we do have research clue. Oh, you're ready to walk on up and walk on up. I just saw you at a door. I saw you at a door and it was like, okay, I've got to have the courage to move through this. So I think you're about to make a very pivotal decision. I think you're at this point in your life where you need to have change. And that change almost feels urgent. It feels very, very urgent that you are needing to shift life out in a particular way. Hi, Dawn. How are you, doll? So how many of us have had technical glitches? Are we ready to upgrade our technology? I have been waiting. I've actually got a lot of new technology, but for the life of me, I've got a new Apple phone. I've got the Apple Mac computer, 29-inch, I believe. I've got the laptop that's Apple. And look, it's a lot of things to set up when you're working two jobs. I'm trying. And just during Mercury retrograde, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm actually going to give my old phone to my mum. I'm going to clear it because hers is shit. I told her I was going to get a child lock on it. She keeps locking herself out and getting viruses on a bloody phone. And I'm like, woman. Okay, so research clue. You've shown up with the 10 of Wands, girl. Okay, lots of glitches. Yeah. So the 10 of Wands is a space in which you know if something is unmanageable, it's too hard to carry. Hands up, I do not know one person on the planet at the moment that isn't having this revelation that something in the foundation has to shift. Now, I would also say, like I said about that video that is being launched and open, go and listen to it if you haven't seen it. It gives us some pointers relating to the energy, which I do know you did listen to. But again, rest. Use the 2 weeks. We've got oppositions. Use the time wisely. Yes, again, with the pending eclipses coming, we're going to be tired and we're not going to make up our mind, right? So take the signature of what we've learned in the Mercury retrograde as it's moving station today. Give it 24 to 48 hours, and I think you can start taking gradual steps. But I do feel you're ready for change. Now, if your body is needing to rest, honor it. If the house has to get messy, let it be. I also feel you could be having a lot of nostalgia associated to people of the past, but very similar. Like my guys are sort of showing me similar to what Leo Nix had in her transformation energy update. I think the same situation applies. I think there is a romantic sector subject coming up, but they're also showing me that something very pivotal in your life needs addressing and adjusting. And it's that if you get into, oh my God, how did I get myself here sort of thing, what they're showing me is it has absolutely nothing to do with that romantic partner. They're saying that's in the bag, but they are saying don't get disillusioned and do focus on the subjects at hand. Because this energy is so, okay, we're moving forward, we're moving up, emotions are coming to the surface, but they're saying, don't get blindsided by what you need to do. You're wanting to move towards happiness and celebration. There could be an anniversary that is popping up surrounding this circumstance. This could be a birthday, it could be an anniversary, a social event, but there's something triggering, what could I say? A memory. But they're also saying going away party, okay? Going away party, doing less and getting more. There could be a job opportunity that's going to come about for you that you apply for. And it may be that what you're looking for is something that's going to give you everything, but also not needing to do as much. And I think it could be something you're seeking at this point in time. They're saying it does physically exist. They're also saying there could be other ways to achieve this, but you might need to look outside the box. And that clarity could come to you over the next 2 weeks. Again, it is going to be a choice. What you are playing for in your life is the star. I feel, and this was something my twin pulled Runecast last night, and we were talking about the darkness versus the star. We were talking about I believe it's a Egyptian or pagan symbol where you have the U, the Y, and it's spiritual protection. And when I was going through my ascension, I literally would draw the image on my it's like the key to life. It actually protects you. So, if you are needing that spiritual protection, it could be that you just, maybe it could be put the symbol inside your pocket or connect it with you, place it on a rock and purchase a gem that has it. And it's going to give you that spiritual protection. But you are needing to maybe meditate. You are maybe needing to tap into it and to get to a point where you're actually asking your guides to help. But I think you're going to make more rational decisions if you're rested. There can be in the heart space a lot of emotions. They're saying you are going to have your celebration, but it can be, again, don't think that all the happiness and the greatness was in, the past, is that, you're doing things that are going to get you to your goal, but it doesn't mean you can't live, because they are saying that there is going to be a change, but there is a possibility that potentially you might it's a little bit like a kid daydreaming walking along the road. That's the best analogy I can give you. It's like having this revelation that, and it's something that's come up quite a bit for you, I would say. That's where the revelations are. A revelation is when you keep coming back to the same subject and you're like, I've got to change it, I've got to change it. And then, you get sidetracked, you're doing something. I say, oh, maybe it's not that bad, and you sidetrack. So it's saying the sidetracking might be oversight, but they're also saying don't avoid that of what you already know. If it needs changing, change it. Because we can tend to make excuses. It could get messier. And they're saying, while you have that acknowledgement of what it is, do something, okay? Even if it is over the next few weeks or it's like a time frame you put on it, because I do get this instinctual feeling that if you address it, it's actually going to go in your favour. What the heck, yeah, Dawn, the other night when the Wi-Fi, my modem, I think our power went out for over 14 hours. Yeah. Yeah. That's Aquarius. That's Uranus and Gemini. It's electricity. Electricity. Meanwhile, AI be using electricity. Technology. It's volcanoes. It's solar wind. It's space. Space junk. What do we have for you, Dawn? Oh, God. What have we got going on here, woman? Have you got something going on with your family, or are you ready to, have a legacy? Or this also could be the way you are actually viewing a romantic interest. Dawn, this could be a subject you're looking at your romantic interest and you're like, they're so kind of entwined in finances. They're like maybe very, very traditional, and they're going to stay in a circumstance that in your opinion could be quite toxic. And it could be that, you think, God, are they ever going to leave their significant other, even though you potentially could see that it's a very toxic situation. So are you feeling in the context, because this is the legacy and inheritance card. This can be coming up a few ways. Now, it could be that you are viewing and, could be your twin, and you're looking at them going, they ain't going to leave that shit. They're not going to leave that. They're tied to that. Now, is this to do with what you want for your life? Is this to do with what you get? Or is this to do with your twin? And I think it's going to be a deciding factor based on how the reading's going to go. Now, you're on the fence. You are on the fence with this. Now, it was interesting. I come across a video the other day, and they were talking about the personality traits of a Gemini. And I think it's very hard to predetermine what the personality traits of a zodiac sign are, is because where would we find that apart from in a planet only? Because if we were to look at a person's zodiac sign, their demeanor and attitude in the 12 houses, it's not officially a particular zodiac sign. So it would really need to be from the hierarchy of the planet. It would need to be from the understanding of what that is. The polarity of Gemini is very social, okay? It needs mental stimulation. You may need a romantic connection that understands you, that gives you your space and your freedom, but also, you could be, it's funny because it almost is similar to Scorpio without the obsessiveness. Now, you want the passion, you want the connection, but you do not want the control, and it's something you will not tolerate. So you do want something to last a lifetime, but you also will have a lot of changes coming over the next few years. I actually find it amusing that Uranus is moving into Gemini, because Geminis do like change. I just don't know how much change they like. You are going to experience the most dynamic change of your lifetime. I cannot undermine that. No, I can't even understate that. Uranus moving into your zodiac sign can make you extremely bored. it may get you to a point where you're so spontaneous, something that is quite traditional, like a marriage or a connection, you could directly look at it and go, every time you're thinking, you're tuning into it, something else is coming, something else is coming. It's going to be so fast paced. So that is going to completely transform. There could be something happening at the moment in your family around, this could be like, yeah, it feels your direct tribe family, an older generation, an older relative. Something with that individual. You could be worried about them. You could be looking at your traditional values and again saying, hey, I'm feeling extremely passionate about this. I want to be safe. I want to be protected. I feel there is safety in numbers. And, this can be an emotion you're having. It's like, I want to feel that I'm part of something. I want to feel I'm part of a connection. So in your heart space, it is a bit down at the moment. It is feeling as though there is lack in this. There is lack, but I don't necessarily feel this is going to be a permanent thought process. I feel it can be a dip in the road that can be quite psychological. Now, remember, you are a Mercury sign. Mercury is station. I would give it 3 days and the attitude and viewpoint is going to shift. But at the moment, there is this vibration that is quite down in the dumps. It's almost like I don't get my star. People aren't there for me. They don't love me. They don't get me. This person I'm invested in, I'm so passionate about. I love them. I've got this attraction and this chemistry. But you're kind of feeling like their attention and their head is so up the clouds, and it's like, it's weird. I had these rude analogies coming through, so it could be that they're really pissing you off. Their head is up their ass, sort of thing. It's like that. They don't see the hay for the clouds. That they don't see what's right in front of them. Okay, and you just do not feel as though. You feel they're too careful. Okay, you feel that you also might be guided to be careful at the moment. Yeah. There could be an argument about to brew. I don't think you'll take too kindly to it regardless. I don't think the argument's with you, Dawn. I think it could be something that you hear about with this person. And I just think you might really give them a mouthful. Especially if you feel they're whinging. You might help them create the tower. You're like, look, I've heard this song and dance. I do feel that there's a visit, okay? I do see that there's a visit. They are afraid that you are going to move into a commitment. They do feel that you're pulling away, but they do have some dramas happening on their side of the fence. I just get that there is such a close possibility of you actually blurting something out. It's almost calling this person like, what are you doing? You have something in front of you. You actually keep complaining about this. You've literally changed nothing. I keep trying. I keep waiting. I keep trying to communicate. You know how I feel about you. It's like that's how it's going to come out. But I feel that there's going to be in the mix of not seeing is seeing, but it's like the person's turning up because I literally have split the 2 cards. I've split the page where there's their energy to the left, your energy to the right, the subject matter with what you're both thinking about. It's sort of like that T section in the road. Do we go left? Do we go right? What do we want out of our lives? Will we have the money? Can we choose our life path of what we feel is going to be most authentic to us? And I think while you're both doing that, I do see a bit of it feels like a rumble. And that rumble is sort of coming through to the point where there's going to be a subject cropping up to do with a conflict over here. And I also feel it's moving over here where you're articulating what your feelings are. Okay. Hi, Spoke. We're literally talking about the fact that you best get your sleep while you can, Cosmic Journey, because all the eclipse energy is in your zodiac sign and you're going to need all the energy you can get. But we have time. We have actually placed your name in the super chat list going across the screen. So once it's physically uploaded, you'll be able to actually draw it to that point and actually select where your super chat is, Dale, okay? Now, any questions about that, Dawn? We've got Lois next. But regardless, I definitely do see for you, navigating at the moment, I can say if your emotions have gone to a lull, it is based on the transits. Is TFO doing okay? Yeah, it's funny you asked that, especially based on the astrology. Yeah, so to sum it up, Dawn, what I would say is the energy is going to be emotional, okay? It's also, it's weird because although you could be looking in and wanting those things, that energy could completely shift. So, what you're taking with you, you're going to want more freedom, okay? You're going to want to try different things, to have different experiences. At times, it might be that whatever has in the past held you down, you won't want to let it. So, again, it is part of your life path. But I would say at the moment, it isn't a context of, is this person up for you? Does this person have feelings, etc.? I feel it's more Mercury was really putting us in our own lane, and if we were intelligent, we would have been keeping away from other people. I'm going to go to station. It's like an abyss. Let's see how they're doing, Lois. Okay. Their past positions firm it. They're deep in their mind at the moment. I do think they're thinking about the past quite a bit. Interesting. It's like they need to make a choice. They're keeping their cards very close to their chest. They feel life as being, it's almost like they feel cursed by life. And I think, I don't know one person maybe that hasn't felt that. That's okay, Dawn. You're welcome. Because, it's sort of like in their mind, they feel that, universe hasn't had their back. And I don't feel that they're negative people. I feel that it's more in the context of a lot of things. It's like, what can I do that is kind and understanding, both for myself, but also for others? How do I get in the gist of that? How do I actually choose what's going to be correct? And I feel as though this person feels that life can be quite a cruel thing. It also can be that they feel it's unfair what's happening in life. And, they've had to really go into the darkness. It's taken them into a bit of a dark night of the soul energy. It's actually made them see that the world is crazy, that the world is changing quite radically. What is safe, what is real. They're definitely looking at life from a very spiritual point of view. But they also feel in general, both in their karmic cycle of their life and where they're going, they're feeling quite withered, but they do feel in hiding their plans and hiding their destination that it's actually helping them meditate upon the best possible course of action. And it's done without any pressure. They are feeling the pressure, but they're feeling more in general is that they're having to turn, they're having to change, and that they're wanting to use, Aquarius also can be time. Linking to elements of Saturn. So it can be really using our time correctly. Who do we spend time with? What do we do with those individuals? And it's a lot of headaches. I don't know if you've been experiencing like tension in the neck, tension in the head. There is linking to divine masculine energy, a lot of tension coming through in their auric body and headaches associated to it. If there was anyone that they would break a commitment for, it would be you. And they're coming through more, how would I put it? It's like, it's not necessarily that the type of person that would betray other people. But for you, they feel there is an exception. It's like they also know they still do the right thing because they have a great deal of respect for you. And here's Aquarius. Yeah, it's really tense. It's really full on. Like I'm getting it like literally through the temple hair, a lot of sinus, and cloudy through the third eye, and the whole neck is feeling really tense here. It's almost like the world's on this person's shoulders. That it is silent, but it's ready for change. It's to the point they desperately need it for their own health. Yeah, they're wanting to be free. They're wanting to cut the cord on a cycle. With the faith card, it also can be like this a binding contract, something that was done at church, for instance. Like the marriage contract, etc. Yeah, there you go. It's like breaking that to choose something else. So I feel that they're feeling now they're not being fair to themselves. And, they feel you're picking up on this. There is something coming where they're wanting to use. It's weird that they're using this reference. It's like, I think more the context of the world is like they're looking out in using their time. And it's like, look, I've used a lot of time. I've really been away from this person quite a bit. I'm really wanting to connect in and to rebel against what the norm is. And this could be from a cultural point of view, a religious point of view, of what is socially acceptable, and I'm wanting to go get my happiness. I'm going to be the rebel without a cause. I'm going to go get my happiness. And they feel, if anything, that the wrong decision was initially made and now they want to make it right. They want to make the right decision moving forward to be with the person that they feel they want to use their last years with. That's what I'm getting. I hope that helps. But yeah, that bloody dope. I'll have to have a Nurofen after. Thanks. Okay, we have Antonella. Last but not least. I don't even know how many did we do? I'd have to check the main super chat feed. Yeah, public super chat is closed, by the way. I don't know. I have to check the main one. It'll be in the chat at the very top, I guess. Antonella, last but not least. I think maybe 6. It's been quite long because we did do a bit of an energy update. We do have an opening in, I think there is a calendar 7. Yeah, possibly. There is a calendar opening for next weekend. I think some of you were looking online and going, is there any weekends? I have opened a few of them up, moved things around. So if you are needing a weekend booking, there's not a lot there. So I'll grab them where you can. October, there will be a few weeks where it will be closed as well in certain dates, and that is also because I will be away. Doesn't mean you won't get your content, but I won't be able to do readings, okay, on certain dates. Okay, I'm going to have to set up a personal reading. There. And I don't mean they're there, I mean they are there. Okay, so Antonella, what you have, you're trying to get into a balance. Again, you might find as we do have the transits moving direct, things can get a bit easier. You also could find that you're going to go through ebbs and flows with it, okay? Because I can say we do need to be cautious about that Pisces moon. It can be quite intellectual. It can make us, go through. I would say if you can find something to help you ground and not using pacifiers, not using any dark and malefic things, I think you're going to handle it okay, but it could be something that's really getting you grounded, not going down the rabbit hole, because that's what's going to help you keep balance. I don't necessarily feel you will, around that Pisces moon, feel so balanced. Now, that's next month, but we will be getting the energy this month. I do feel you're in the magician energy, and this magician energy, it could be using tools, methods, techniques, anything down to meditation, setting intentions, etc. Like I said, this Lionsgate portal wasn't your traditional Lionsgate portal. Now, doesn't mean that we're manifesting. Yes, we always should go into positive intention settings. But we also, as soon as we don't get those kind of outcomes right away, what we might find is we become disillusioned again and our vibration shifts. So this is a time of change, regardless of whether we do or don't manifest. This is a portal. There is going to be some difficulties for a couple of weeks. There are going to be some shakeups moving into September. Our bodies are going to be tired. We're going to need to use that energy resourcefully. Now, you do have the Magician. It is in the past position. You also could feel as though there has been some old energy coming up for you relating to karmics and manipulation and black magic. I would tune out of that, because it's also when you do tune into those factors, if it is something that is coming up in your mind's eye, what you do is actually re-empower those individuals. So it's almost like, be it was real or be it wasn't, it's like you physically are handing them this wand that has a lot of energy, and so it makes it a reality. So you've got to be really careful what you tune into. A lot of times it can be because you physically are feeling disempowered associated to how something is panning out, and it's making you reluctant to move forward in either which way. I do feel there are some particular triggers in circular areas for you, and I think this is in a confidence setting moving forward to employment, where you are living, as well as around family and tribe, and there are some challenges that you're having there. It's not to say that these aren't or are real, or that they are there to affect you, but it could be something that is causing grave concern in your mind, and not necessarily making it easy to remain balanced, if that makes sense. So it could be you confidently feeling you can take risky decisions. It could also be that you're needing to do a budget and pull and rein situations in, and not to use money resources wastefully. It could be a warning to you in the initial stages. But you do have these trigger points at the minute, love, okay? So it could be that, you're feeling quite rebellious. Okay, do I, don't I? Am I going in the right direction? You have things to do with tribe and family, and worry about accommodation and where you're going to be. So that alone is enough stress. Even though you could still be taking a very positive attitude moving forward, it is bringing a lot of lineage patterns, and it could cause some outbursts here. And outbursts aren't necessarily going to change anything, but it could make situations messier. There could be a candid conversation you are having with particular individuals to do with where you see your life going. These circumstances are helping you to be more independent. And they paused me at independent. There's something here. They're saying it's not just a statement, it's a vibration. It's funny, you do have a huge goal ahead of you, right? You've got to be careful about what you're tuning into. They're really saying this, and I'm going to try and sum it up very, very briefly and in a condensed way so you understand. They're showing me all these goals and things you're moving towards, but they're also showing me the shadow aspect that, you might not know that a wound can be a weapon, and that weapon can actually take you into manifesting something. So what do I mean by that? I know for me, if somebody tells me I can't do something, I take great pleasure in achieving it. And I will not quit till I achieve it. It's just who I am. It's how I'm wired. So something of an insult could come about, and it triggers me to completely transform. It triggers me to dig deep and to both prove to myself and other people wrong. Now, so I am able to turn something that was quite hurtful towards me into something quite resourceful for me, like the Magician, right? Alchemy. For you, the concern I'm having is this alchemy isn't for you theoretically. Okay. This alchemy could be motivated around a romantic interest. Now, it is theoretically for you, but if you're not motivated by the things that you're attempting to achieve and that they are very personal to you, they're very important to you, not based on if you do or don't have a relationship, that might waver. So if you see then a circumstance with this romantic interest shift and it's not in your favor or some shape or form, it could make you second guess every area of life you're currently dealing with. So their advice to you is to get passionate about the things that are important to you, because that does become your spiritual foundation, so that anything else that enters into your domain is the salt and pepper, not the defining factor. Because they're saying they're really wanting you to build that pyramid correctly. They're wanting you to have that safety. And I do think that's something that you're really desiring to have in your life, is safety, surety, and something you can depend on. And it's something also that you're very passionate about. I feel if you're always building other people's dreams or just doing what's necessary, you're really not filling your cup. And I think if you're filling your cup, whatever happens on the external, you're going to be able to deal with it in more a stronger way. And you're going to also have the confidence that if you could make things change, this person also can have things make change. But there's something kind of weighing over your head at the moment that, it's almost like this can put you off center. So it's how much energy and attention you give to it versus, if that is going to be a risk of it happening, my suggestion would be for a couple of weeks, just tune out of this person, so that while you're not feeling so great within yourself, you're not adding to that trigger point where you can bring yourself undone. So I would just really, really hone in over the next 2 weeks physically on what those things are for you, getting very sure and real about it and being very, very honest, because you won't be able to fake it. And then that will get you on your correct axis, so that if something is coming up with this, it's not going to phase you. You're going to be in a more stable setting. I hope that helps. But yeah, just be really careful with that. Have you ever had those moments where you're doing it based on what you think another person would want? And so you're trying to build yourself up in a very non-authentic way. It's almost like, going for all these plastic surgeries because you think a particular individual who you are very connected to likes a particular hairstyle, likes a particular look, and you go morph yourself into that, only to find that that person then goes for somebody polar opposite. And it's like, wow, but I did all these changes. It's about you and getting the things that you like, and those energies will match you correctly. But do it because you want to do it, not because you think it's somebody else's. That's what you guys are really trying to hone in for you at the moment. Now, we do have our other super chats up at the minute. I will have to get the other thing off the screen. And I am going to update all the info boxes directly below. And with those info boxes, what they are going to have directly under all the videos is all the correct links. Now, our blog posts also are going to have similar things. Like I mentioned, we do have videos out at the moment. We have the Full Moon in Aquarius up. At the moment, it is an audio track. Obviously, I am going to do 2 editions in the future, which is going to be a video turned into a podcast. And I can share it so that if, for instance, you were in bed and you wanted to listen to these things, you can do such. I can also share it on different platforms. Separately, I will be getting the updates for the eclipses, etc. And next moon is going to be in Virgo. And our content for the next edition of the Twin Flame Path is going to be open tonight at 8 p.m. GMT. And members are already in the next month's energy. So that's one perk of being a VIP member of Sage Inner Circle Network, is you directly do get that content ahead of time. Now, you can actually sign up by jumping to the website directly below, and I have all that content there. how you sign up is basically go to the landing page, read what the hub is all about, and you can then sign up for the email. Now, if any of the links aren't working, just PM me via the website and say, look, can you please add my email to Sage Inner Circle Network? I'd love to be on the list, and I can send you a letter of confirming that we have actually sent that to you. So bear with us while we are trying to iron out all the creases for things. I am going to actually be hosting webinars, events. I do chime in with the members, especially if I know there's been some testing transits. I'll basically pop in and we will have a chat about those things. So, yep, you've got the landing page, you've got the information. As to the bookings, you can go directly to the website below. All of those links are there, and I will see you on the other side. Keep an eye on the actual schedule, because I am going to be putting up additional spots for super chats, additional dates moving forward, additional events and webinars. So keep an eye on it, click the bell on it. And for the links, I am going to update all those boxes so that if you go to that video and you want to join that super chat, you can basically go to the info box directly below. It will have the relevant link inside it, which the next one that's up, I need to update that. So don't go to it right away, but do click the bell. Where you will get the newest link for the PayPal is directly below this video. So I will today update this as soon as I get off the video, and it will be on all the new ones now, and all the videos that are uploaded, it will have the correct links. If you are wanting a super chat and it's not scheduled, if I'm live and I have 5, I can do those super chat questions after, within the time frame, obviously, where they are available. So again, I will see you on the other side. I hope it's helped, and I hope you do take care. Thank you for all your support and for sharing any of the content here at Yildiz Readings 5D.